New voice in the fight to save our beloved koalas right around Sydney. Recent studies have found less than a third of residents are aware that koalas live really close to the city.
And the New South Wales state government is now considering significant urban development that will put the endangered species at risk. Joining us now is Jeff Angel, who created the Sydney Basin Koala Network. Jeff, morning to you. Could you explain a little bit about the network and the goal behind this idea?
Yes, good morning. In May this year, under state and federal threatened species legislation, the koala was listed as endangered. The next step beyond that is extinction, and the Sydney Basin Koala Network and the local groups we're working with, in fact all the groups around Australia, are determined that the koala doesn't go extinct. That's incredibly important to the natural heritage of our country.
Well, thank goodness that you're doing that. Now, you're talking about there being really a lot of koalas living in and around the city. Where are they?
Yes, people are very surprised to know, particularly in Sydney, on the western edge, just beyond Campbelltown and Appin, there are a couple of thriving koala colonies. They're not particularly big, but what's important is that they're very healthy, they're wanting to expand, and the Sydney Basin Koala Network wants to keep their habitat. We want the trees to stop coming down. We want the homes of the koalas, both as food and shelter, kept in the ground. And that's going to mean some very tough work for governments, and it's going to mean that mining, logging and urban development needs to be constrained.
Jeff, they're absolutely vital when it comes to our sense of national identity, I think, but a lot of Australians would be quite surprised to hear you say this morning just how close they are to that title of perhaps becoming extinct. I mean, how realistic is that if we don't manage this properly?
If we don't manage this properly, the prediction is by 2050 koalas will be extinct. And if you look back over 100 years, there were millions of koalas across Australia. So we've done enormous damage to the population, but we now have the planning tools, the environmental tools, and of course now the Sydney Basin Koala Network to really pursue their protection and their expansion. We need corridors linking up remnant habitats like we're in today. That's been quite a difficult fight against planning and developer interests, but the Sydney Basin Koala Network and all its partner groups are going to really put a very strong fight up to keep the habitat intact.
Well, the state government in New South Wales is currently weighing up legislation that could destroy our koala habitats. Keep up the good fight. Thanks so much for being with us, Jeff.
Thank you.